Welcome back then. A bit of a recovery is what we're seeing on select stocks at least. Axis Bank is fighting for the Nifty, so that's good news. And from the broader markets, stocks like Indocount, KPIT Technologies, all of them, they have recovered a good 3 to around 4% from the low point of the day. Pull up the broader market stocks as well. Indocount, KPIT Technologies, NIT Tech as well, NCC Limited, all of them. They're doing a bit of a fight back. So good to see that a couple of stocks as well are fighting at least for the broader market. Some green, we'll take any green actually. But let's get chatting with the management then. We're joined currently by Mr. Pankaj Poddar, the CEO of Cosmo Films, who joins us on the line from New Delhi. Hi, Pankaj. Thanks so much for joining in. Numbers appeared a tad bit subdued. I mean, nothing great really about these numbers. Top line dip, you were telling us polypropylene prices were under pressure. What's the outlook on prices going ahead? And also for the past quarter, how did the volumes do? Were they higher?
Yes, if we compare the volumes versus the last quarter, they were higher. And given that, our capacity is already utilized completely, we are able to generate these higher volumes through the improvements that we are able to do internally. So as far as the revenue is concerned, I think it is down largely because of two reasons versus last year on year. Mm-hmm. One is that polypropylene prices are down, so these are passed on to the customers. And secondly, I think there is some pressure that we observed in the last quarter on the margins, largely internationally, and that impact was there in India as well.
Okay. Mr. Poddar, some numbers then. You said volumes went up this quarter. By how much? And how much did you have to cut down your prices this quarter?
Yeah, so, the volume was marginally up by roughly 3%, but as far as the margins are concerned, they were down by roughly 250 basis points. And in spite of that, which is largely in the commodity films, in spite of that, we have been able to have a stable EBITDA number that is largely driven by all the internal efficiencies and increase in specialty film sales. And specialty sales have, once again, on year-on-year basis, have grown by 10%.
Right, Pankaj, and give us some forward-looking statements. Polypropylene prices, have they bottomed out currently? Margins from year on, can you do much better in terms of margins as well? Has that as well bottomed out? Give us some sense going ahead.
Yes, so as far as polypropylene prices, to some extent it is linked to oil. And oil has been quite range-bound if you really see in last 1 year. Between $40 to $50. So, there is some correlation between oil and this. And the way oil will proceed, I think polypropylene would, kind of move in the same direction. And given that it's been range-bound, we expect that it should continue to remain range-bound, and therefore polypropylene should stay range-bound. As far as our revenue numbers are concerned, we should see a very good jump in next year and next to next year, given that there is a 40% capacity expansion that's going to come up in Q4. And therefore, it should improve our EBITDA numbers and all other numbers once the new volume number starts to come up in the financial numbers.
What did you say your capacity utilization currently is? 100%?
Yeah, it's fully utilized.
Okay. And once the new capacity comes on board, are you confident that you will be able to utilize all the additional capacity which flows through into your revenues? Is there that much demand? Yeah,
see, the global market is fairly large, and it's 8 million tons. And even with this new capacity, Cosmo would be only 200,000 tons, so it's not a great addition from the global capacity perspective. Obviously, it does take, few months or 1 or 2 quarters initially to ramp up to the entire capacity utilization. But I see no concerns why we should not be able to use the demand completely. I'm absolutely confident that we will be able to fairly quickly utilize the entire capacity as such.
All right, Pankaj, then give us some guidance going ahead. Year to date, that's at the half-year mark. You're down close to around 7% in terms of revenues. Last year, you did around 1,700 crores. So this year, what should your revenue number look like? That's FY17. And more importantly, FY18, what should a number look like? I remember we had the promoter on the channel, and he said you're looking to be a $1 billion company in the next 5 years. So it should be moving in that direction. What kind of numbers can we look at in FY18?
Yes, as far as this year is concerned, I do not expect any significant jump in revenues because the new expansion is coming only in the Q4. We will be able to commercialize the production in this year itself, but there'll be a small volume growth from there. As far as the next year is concerned, there should be a pretty significant growth in the volume numbers. I cannot give you a number in terms of absolute value because of the fact that polypropylene keeps moving, and therefore it's difficult to give, put a number to it. As far as again FY19, we should again see a very good growth because we intend to grow, reasonably well in next 5 years, and therefore you should see from FY18 every year good growth in our revenue numbers. That's what we are targeting at.
All right, Mr. Poddar, we'll leave it at that. Thanks so much for joining in. By the way, statements coming in from the Heavy Industries Minister to the National Green Tribunal. Remember, the National Green Tribunal had said that, you have to ban diesel vehicles which are more than 10-year-old. And now the Heavy Industry Minister is saying that you need to vacate this ban, which